And we are live. Good morning here. Fatboy FadeAway Sports, episode 182. Get the coffee ready. Ladies and gentlemen, I know it had to be a Giants cup. Sorry out there. It had to be a Giants cup. That's all I had available in the coffee cup. Is either that, Casey, or, or a glass mug. And I just couldn't do the glass mug with coffee. So the Giants get a rare one out there. Good morning out there, everybody. We're doing Cavs Warriors game one reaction 2015 NBA Finals. Casey's got the finals hat there before. It was a great series, one of the opening ones, obviously for the Warriors there. Their first trip in 40 years. But before we get to that, Tyler McGurk, you've been busy, my friend. You got baseball. You've been doing that all month, well, probably since April now, pretty hardcore. But the last month with All Stars, it really picks up. You've been busy. How you doing? Are you hanging in there?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to settle down for a month, and we'll get back into baseball. But once again, excited to have the three of us back on this, talking Warriors NBA Finals. What better place would I rather be?
You didn't have any like unreal all-star stories where there's no fighting by the parents, nobody get ejected, where everybody is it more strict now with these areas, or is it just the temperament of these the players is it improved? Are we just all loving each other now? Is that what this is?
No, I think the temperament of Sebastopol makes it a little bit easier. It's a little less competitive. They just like to have a little fun, just compete a little bit. Not expected to win anything. I went to the Ricken Valley Petaluma American Championship game, and a coach got thrown out of the game. So I wouldn't say around here it still has psychos involved in this process. You still see it. The umps get a little overzealous. They want to make it about them sometimes, and the coaches are not afraid to speak their mind.
Oh, good. We're still in America. That's good. We're still in America. We're still ejected. We're still ejected games from a 10-year. Was it under 10 or under 11 you were doing?
It was 12-year-olds.
It was 12. So next year you go to the big field there, so you got that.
Well, I got the intermediate 50-70 thing they introduced like 7 years ago.
So it's 70 feet now you go to? Is that what you go to?
Yeah, it's 50 feet from the pitcher's mound, 70 feet to the base paths. And you can lead off and steal, and it's really easy to steal bases. But
so who ended up winning? Ricky Valley ended up winning again, or is it?
No, Petaluma American. They have this tall 6-foot surfer-looking dude through absolute gas.
Can't anything.
Like, my God.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that we still got one injection in Little League. I was still glad to hear that we had. That's still a tradition that continues then over there. How does your better half handle these games in the All Stars? Is she intense? Is she pretty quiet? Does she ever come home and say, Tyler, what were you guys thinking on this decision right there? Does that ever happen with you guys?
Absolutely. She loves to second guess every move you make. She thinks she knows more than anybody out there. But I enjoy that she actually takes in the process and wants to win as much as I do. But it's sometimes like, here's the clipboard. You can go out there and run a practice, see how well you do. And she always declines.
Sometimes Hana will always help me. She has, they're always usually better thoughts than not. But you're right. Sometimes you catch the wrong comment. You're like, I know that this kid's doing it. You're like, I know I got it. You're like, I don't know. Yeah, but for the most part, you got to remember it's all positive. But there is that little dilemma when your wife does care about your teams. You're like,
yes, exactly.
Here's the clipboard. Yeah, why don't you make the starting lineup for little Johnny out there? Case. Have you fully digested that steak from a week ago? Said you still was giving you trouble in Sacramento. Are you good now? Are we good?
I'm feeling a lot better.
Yeah, good. Enough up early enough. You got to drink more coffee. That's what'll help you. More black coffee. That's the key to it. All right. What do you think, gentlemen? We're gonna kind of hopefully do a little in July. Last year we did a string of look backs. I think we did 4 straight weeks of it. Hopefully we'll do something maybe like that this July as well. It's a good month to do it. Let's start with 2015. Happened on June 4th. Warriors, Cavs at Golden State. First game for the Warriors in a finals in 40 years. Cavs first time being in the NBA Finals. LeBron, his first year back with Cleveland after being with Miami. That was the big storyline. Kevin Love obviously got hurt the round before, or the first round against Boston, so he was out for the finals. We'll get into the other injury a little later in this game as well. But kind of initial thoughts looking back at it, kind of watching some of the game, kind of seeing the players that were involved. Case, what's kind of your first thoughts of the 2015 Warriors Cavs game 1?
I want to give a shout out to Doug. Cleveland, this is for you. Of course, Doug on the double-double, but I had to get that one out. But 2015, LeBron was just such a beast. The Warriors never been to the promised land before, not in our era, like not even close at all. And Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Iguodala, just on this rise, complete revamped roster, Bogut, just incredible first time in Warrior history to even make it that far. The journey that we went through, going through the Pelicans, and then the year prior, kind of going through their ups and downs, and with the Nuggets, and to finally have them reach the promised land was just a whole nother experience. I had never, didn't even know what playoff basketball really felt like until you're like invested fully. And I mean, like, as a fan, like there's fandom, and there's, man, I just really want to beat LeBron James, and he did not make it easy to root for him that series because he was so freaking good.
And we talked about how bad this last finals was. Like, kind of wasn't like the most exciting one. This was the one that kind of had some built up. You had LeBron as the best player. You had Curry coming in as the MVP, but this undersized kind of guy where it was like LeBron, I think, was even quoted as saying, "I'm never the underdog." And you know what I mean? So, like, Tyler, what'd you kind of make of game 1? Our first thoughts of seeing it, like, some of the players involved, all the good stuff with game 1 here from 9 years ago.
I mean, you brought it up, the whole LeBron mantra. I'm never the underdog. I missed that part of LeBron where he was like, there was no excuses. He didn't make excuses for himself. Now I feel like he'd play that up and be like, look, I'm just happy to be here. Or not happy to be here, but I'm just, my God, what was that? The ruffle bag in your hand? And now back to the Warriors side of this, it was this. We never had a roster like this. Like, we were used to our bench that we had coming off the bench being all our best players, like Iguodala, Festus, Livingston, and Barbosa. And like, that was like our starting lineups back in the 90s and early 2000s. So it was just nice to have like this team that was also fun. Like, it was a fun way they played. There was great style of basketball. Steve Kerr completely outcoached David Blatt in this game. And the way Kerr had this offense moving was a lot different than Mark Jackson from years prior. Don Nelson, while he was fun, you saw the defensive lapses, and it was just a great roster, and it was just the beginning of something special.
They mentioned that Kerr offered the position to David Blatt, the assistant coaching position in this game, but he turned it down for the head coaching position, obviously, of the Cavs. But even the thing with him too is he didn't know LeBron was going to be there when he first took over. Andrew Wiggins was the number 1 pick at that time. He kind of thought that was the team he was going to always go Cavs. Well, not this series, buddy. What's up, Jordan? How you doing? Jordan Max in Ohio Sports Talk, talking the gridiron as well. We do have football coming up here as well. All right.
I was going to tell just a quick thing. I was talking to D yesterday. I was like, David Blatt's probably the one coach that I remember only infamously for LeBron just like completely like he got 1.5 years and never coached in the NBA again, which is one of the weirdest things. So
David Blatt's a weird one. You're right. Like, LeBron basically just got him out. He was like, he felt like not to his fault. David Blatt made errors. Like, what was he was the coach of the Bulls one, right? Where where you were bringing it up, where he's like, just give me the ball or something like that, right?
Oh, it was the best when he drew up the play, and I thought it was the Bulls when he banked it in from the corner, and David Blatt drew up this play, and LeBron basically just erased the whole thing. He's like, you're not giving the ball to freaking Mo Williams. He's like, you're going to give me the ball, and like, I don't care what the play is, just give me the damn ball. And it worked out, and then I think after that, David Blatt's kind of writing was on the wall. And it was just like, you're not gonna give not me the best player in the world, not the last chance to score. So I don't know. It was just one of those things where David Blatt just never. Obviously, Ty Lue took over the following year halfway through, but I just felt like David Blatt. I was like, man, as soon as he took over, he was done.
Shout out Mo Williams, definitely not on the 2015 squad, but yes, shout out.
No,
to
but you feel me. You feel me though. It was like that type
Yeah,
of
if we drew
player.
up a play
Like,
for Mo Williams in 2015, yes, I'd
Yeah,
take
hell
the
of a-
board away.
you know
from
what
him.
I'm saying though. It was like someone that wasn't even worthwhile of even
I
taking
know, I
that
just
shot.
busted your balls on that. But yeah, that was kind of one of those. Yeah, you're right. Blatt was totally under. That was just a funny situation. Like you could even see him on the side. Like he was always kind of just giving like the motivational speech more than actual um, strategy most of the time. It was like, come on, keep digging in, dig in. You got a lot of digging in. That's what I remember from that series as well. Yeah, if we kind of start the game out, the crowd was off the hook in Oracle. The first game, right? First finals game in 40 years, off the hook crowd to start that. That was awesome. The yellow shirts. They played really nervous. That first quarter was terrible. It's Tristan Thompson. Talk about a pain in the butt. My goodness. He was 7 rebounds in the first quarter, dominated the glass. You forgot the Warriors because you look at the starting lineups on paper, right? Like I know Iguodala hadn't started at this time, but you're like Thompson, James, Irving, Shumpert, Mozgov, and then you look at now, you're like Green, Barnes, Thompson, Bogut, Curry. You're like, oh, the Warriors would win that. It was a way tougher matchup for the Warriors. LeBron was just on a different level then, and they were really, really bad to start. Curry was not good. Clay was not great. Draymond was awful in the first quarter, like really bad on turnovers. So that was a big factor to me. And then the other thing I noticed in the first quarter that was going to end up being a storyline, that basically turns out being a storyline for the whole finals, is Iguodala was awesome in this game, but in that first quarter, you could tell that was going to be the guy that was going to help us if we're going to do it. And he didn't slow LeBron down, but he did it. He always did enough in this series to just make it hard enough on him. So, what do you guys think? So the early first quarter, and they were up 29-19 headed into the first quarter, or at the end of the first quarter, and then finally they kind of pick it up a little bit more. But sluggish start that first finals game, really nervous there. It looked like.
Yeah, those first 15 minutes of the game for the Warriors is just pathetic. Watching LeBron, I'm like, man, LeBron could shoot the ball in the first quarter. I didn't know he was. I remember him throwing up not being this great of a shooter. He was 3 of 7 from outside the paint, but then I went and looked, and I was like, how did he do outside the paint the rest of in the playoffs before that? And he was shooting 27%. I was like, my God, he just came out on fire, and he was just a beast. He was so tough to stop. And then, like you said, the Warriors just came out nervous and looked terrible for those first 15 minutes of the game.
They ISO'd him more in this series. That was the good thing about. That's what they did. They finally they played smart, and they really just forced the Warriors to really have to guard him in an ISO situation, which allows him to just control all the passes basically, which is what you want for the most part. Yeah. I think at the end of the day, he became the first person in finals history to lead in points, rebounds, and assists. I think he led in every category. I think he was the first
steals, I think.
Huh?
And steals, I believe.
Yeah, I think he was the first player to lead in all those 4 main categories. That's how dominant he was. I think they mentioned after the game that he was struggling shooting heading into this series as well. And then they go into half. The Warriors play a little better second quarter there. But I want to get to this. At the end of the second quarter, the Warriors they're tied at 48, and Draymond has 1 foul at the time, and then they do that stupid take foul with 3 seconds left on LeBron, and then J.R. Smith ends up hitting a 3 anyways to go up 3 at halftime, and then I'm like, well, then he picks up another one early in the third, but I'm like, those take fouls to me at the end of the half, I mean, unless you're doing it with Ian Clark or those type of players, it doesn't make sense to me why you would use one of your best defenders to ever do a take foul. And they were on it. You could see they were they were trying to, before with 10 seconds left, Kerr was asking for that. But I hate those kind of plays and then stupid J.R. Smith, man. Nobody, and you just forget when JR would just throw up crap and you'd be like, how is that going in? And it either go in or even rattle in and out. You're like, my God, this guy is talk about a gunslinger, man. He is an all-timer in that regard.
J.R. Smith was those
all time.
Man, he was when he got hot, he was hot. I mean, and they weren't like regular shots. They were like just fall away threes, left to right. Then once he got in his bag, he started crossing over, and I'm like, it was like a little, I would say like a little Jamal Crawford kind of like hot streaks, and he just make those shots, and they were like just backbreakers. But I mean, getting early to the first though, I was just like, I thought the Warriors it was tough, man. First time in the finals, but LeBron had been there, seasoned, poised. And one thing I really took away, man, Tristan Thompson. I told Darren, I was like, he was a beast. Like, I forgot how good he was on the boards. Like, he wrecked the offensive rebounds. Like, I mean, because the Cavs weren't known as the greatest outside shooting team, but man, every time that ball went up, it felt like in the first half, Tristan Thompson got that ball. I mean, he ended up, I think it was like 15 rebounds, something like that. Yeah.
7 offensive rebounds, I believe, or 6. He was, I remember even in the series, like, God, Tristan Thompson, I feel like, is their second best player watching some of these games. As good as Kyrie was, like, this guy just is a menace.
Yeah, and Bogut and Draymond, like, I mean, he was out there with, like, nobodies that couldn't rebound. Like, he was just dominant on that side. And you watch, like, you know, it's funny as we get older and you watch him now, but I was just like, man, I was like, I really forgot how dominant he was, like, at his position at that time.
He had 7 rebounds in the first quarter, 3 of them offensive. So yeah, then he had 5 in the third. So he went through stretches of crushing the Warriors there. So yeah, 51-48 at halftime. That was the score there. Headed into half, the Warriors again. They looked a little tight in this first game. Curry had 14, LeBron had 19. Curry was starting to play a little bit better. And then finally, Clay comes out in the third. He looks a little bit more like himself. Doesn't necessarily go on fire from 3, but he looks a little bit more in a rhythm. Xavier is funny. He goes, because Shumpert was kind of playing well. He goes, "Is that guy a good player?" I don't really know how to explain Shumpert. He was a problem though for the Warriors. He wasn't like an issue, but he always kind of was like kind of a gnat there. Like he would get strips. He would hit big. He had a couple big corner threes there to keep them in it late. Like, you know, he was kind of like when it looked like the Warriors were going to kind of pull away there in the third. He hit a couple big shots, the corner threes to kind of keep him in the game a little bit too. So he was always not like the best player, but one of those players that he definitely was a little better than I thought headed into the series. So those are kind of things there. My favorite line of the whole thing was in the third quarter, it's early in the first half. Mo Spates, I forgot he got hurt early in the playoffs, and that was his first game back, and probably about two series. I think he got hurt in the Memphis series, so probably missed the conference final. So that was his first game back, and he starts out 2 for 2 or something like that, and we had Jeff Van Gundy, Mark Jackson announcing along with Breen still, and he goes, Jeff Van Gundy goes, they're like, "Yeah, Mo Buckets is back," and he goes, "Well, we know it's not Mo Passes. We know it's not."
That's a good one. He did not pass the ball.
No. Because he came in, I think he took like 4 shots in the first minute. Like, you know, he was just like getting them. I mean, it's not Mo Passes. So I thought that was good. So, but Mo Spates, man, missed him on this one. So we get to the end of the third. Iggy gets that great steal at the end of the third to go, ties it up at 73. Anything you guys see change there early in that third quarter? Iggy to me was just one of the biggest differences, and Clay finally kind of picked it up a little bit in the third.
Yeah. Go ahead, guys.
No, yeah, no doubt, man. I was going to agree with you. I was going to reference back to it. I thought of Mon Shumpert when you were talking about him, and he was like the 3-and-D guy. So, like, you know, it coming from the Knicks, I believe it was, you know, when Curry, I think he had that amazing game in MSG. He was on that team, you know, when Curry went off. And so seeing him, I think, you know, the motivation of just all those guys playing from the Cavs, I mean, that first half was just, I would say, probably one of the funnest halves of basketball and best halves competitively I think we've seen. I think that's the greatest finals in the last decade. I'm not just being biased. I just mean on both sides. And then speaking of Iguodala, man, just I didn't realize how good he was because we didn't really have regional basketball. You know what I mean? Like you weren't able to watch all these shows on like Netflix or Prime or, you know, Hulu. So like when these guys came to your team, it was like really kind of the first time you got to really watch them in a sense. And like watching Iguodala, you're like, man, Denver let this guy go. I was like, this guy is amazing watching him play. And then trying to match up with LeBron, you see how good LeBron is. Like, damn, like, okay, this is gonna be some trouble. But I thought the first half, just in general, I thought it was probably the most entertaining basketball I've seen, like at a high level at my life.
I mean, that first quarter was rough. I can't say that was it. That was a rough first quarter to watch. The Warriors were god awful.
Well, yeah, depending on what side you're on, but I mean, I just like LeBron was amazing. It was like this guy is absolutely incredible. Like,
would you say Iggy actually gave LeBron problems, or would you say no? Like, how would you define that? It's like when you do watch every little play, like he did know where LeBron's going most of the time. He made LeBron compete most of the time. He definitely bothers him with like the strip once in a while. Like he's able to kind of get that off of him a little bit. Like LeBron ended up like what he ended up on the game here. Like overall, he ended up 8 for 18. So it's still obviously not terrible.
2 for 18. He took 38 shots.
Or 8 for 38. 18 for 38. 44. Still ended up with all that stuff, but. I don't know. Like when I'm watching it, he does give him issues. He still gets his points, but I don't know. I didn't know how to like frame that. Like, does he give him problems? I mean, he ended up winning the MVP, I guess.
I would say yes, but I mean that's only because I think he was older too than LeBron by like a year or two. So I mean he might have been more seasoned. So I think that helped. But yeah, I don't know. Go ahead, T.
I don't think Iggy. I mean Iggy's the point of attack on defense as far as like guarding LeBron, so he had to do his thing. But I think the way they guarded the Cavaliers off of LeBron, kind of just making LeBron have to beat you with tough shots, and LeBron can do that because he's LeBron James. But so he made it tough, and I think the Warriors as a whole made it like when J.R. Smith's shooting 3 of 13, and like the rest of the roster isn't hitting shots from outside because you're guarding them so well. It makes it tough for LeBron to get his assists. I think he finished with 6 assists. Like he wasn't having his big passing games in these series. It was all points. It was all volume, like 38 points, scoring 44 points, would take that. So, like, I guess, does he give them problems? I think the Warriors' whole defensive scheme, I think, gave the Cavaliers problems in certain aspects.
I thought it was interesting as you go into the fourth quarter. It dictated a lot to me when I watched it. I wrote down Prime Iggy in capital letters there as the Warriors are they're up 78-75 as we kind of start. Iggy was really good offensively too in this game. He goes 6 for 8. But in that fourth quarter, he played all 12 minutes. He doesn't come out of the game. LeBron doesn't even play all 12 minutes. So I thought that was interesting. LeBron plays 9 of those 12 fourth quarter minutes. I just found that very interesting. That's how important he was and how well he was playing headed into that. I would say he maybe was the MVP of this game. That's what I would say. He probably. I mean, I know he didn't have more points than Curry, but I thought he actually ended up being the MVP of the game. LeBron has 37. Midway through the fourth there, and as we kind of get into the end of the fourth quarter and then into overtime a little bit, let's kind of go to the end of the fourth here. Irving, we haven't talked about him much. Let's kind of talk about him. His finishing with that was still incredible. Like it's unreal. His finishing. He was good there. Like he was still a great player there. But I felt like the next year and the year after that, he hit different levels. Watching him play, he was still really good. But then he gets hurt in that game. He gets hurt as well. But before that, to end the fourth, it looks like Curry's going to have that layup. Yeah. And then he comes up with that unreal left-handed block. That was kind of the first series where Irving was on the map for me. That was the one where I kind of first started to get his attention. Even when he got hurt, you're like, oh, he's still like pretty. I don't know. That was the first game for me where he kind of really got my attention. And then obviously he goes down there at the end of overtime. But what do you guys make of Irving before he goes out? Like his kind of role in this series in that game.
I mean, he looked banged up even in the game. Like he didn't look like the kind.
He had that foot issue.
Yeah, and he looked a little banged up. He was. I think he's the only Cavalier who finished in the plus minus aspect of the game. He was great. You brought up the play. Kerr draws up a great play, gets Curry an open layup, and he comes out of nowhere and makes this defensive play that you don't expect Kyrie Irving to make. Like, it's not something he's ever been known for as his defense, and it was a game saving play at the time. They would have gone up 2, and we saw what happened at the end of the game to go to overtime. But Kyrie's a special player. He has been since he came in the league. You knew he was going to be able to be a scoring dynamo, like even at Duke, the way he finishes around the hoop. And like, so while this was the coming out game probably for Kyrie, for Warriors fans and like people who don't watch it, I'm sure Cavaliers fans were not surprised by anything that he was doing.
Kyrie's was just just a special talent where I was just like, man, I knew Curry was MVP and everything, and they had different games, but at times you're like, man, like, shit, this guy's really freaking good. Like, man, like, he's crossing up, he's going left, he's going right. And a lot of people, you know, especially on the Cleveland side, well, if he was healthy, they would have won, you know, but it is if it is fifth. But, I mean, it was just incredible to watch Kyrie, though. I mean, just think about now. He's the kind of like the old head with Luka now, in a sense. And so, but watching him back then, it was just, whoo, man, that guy had handles, man. Jeez.
His finishing was always the difference maker. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, that's always a big what if him and Kevin Love were in there, right? Does that change everything? Clay has a big moment in that game. He finally picks it up. He has that typical Clay 3 that puts him up 91-90 with about 4 minutes left in the game. Green gets his 5th foul. He goes a little crazy. I was thinking it's next year where he fully lets it all out. Like, I feel like that's the next year where he like kind of really goes all like he takes his antics to the next level. So that was kind of one of my notes I had, kind of watching that as well. Mozgov, he was actually an issue in this team. He was actually he had some unreal dunks. I was like, what is going on with Timothy? He was unbelievable in this game. Like, he really was. They called a late travel on him, which was a terrible call. The Warriors got away with that one with a finish or a layup. That saved them a little bit too. And then I want to get to the end of the game, though, or the end of that fourth quarter. They give the ball to LeBron, and you know he's going to go to that 3-point step back on the left side. He beat the Warriors once there with the Heat. Did you guys see that? You guys were able to see that play, hopefully, on there as well. But like, I forgot that was his favorite move. Get to that left side, get to that little step back there. That was always kind of his little go-to move. He misses it, and then Shumpert almost gets the miracle put back. It looked like it definitely was on line. Let's put it that way. A little short, but I thought that was. I know that's LeBron's shot, but it's always one of those like, man, just. Iggy did a good job on him. I think Iggy knew he was going to get to it, but it was I don't know. I would have I'd rather see him try to get to the hoop there.
Well, he better have known it was coming. He made the shot over him when he was in Miami.
That's true. He did. I mean, I thought they could have got a better look there at the end there, and then they get to overtime, and the Warriors just end up basically they get their only points with 8 seconds left in the overtime. There, the LeBron there, the Warriors come out pretty much dominant there. Harrison Barnes hits a big 3 there, but the Mozgov factor for me was a little bit, and then just that play at the end of the game, I didn't understand it. I mean, I get the step back, but I think he was tired. I just try to get it. That's where I'm just like, get the ball closer.
It's a terrible shot. Like, as far as you're tied, like, why are you taking a step back 3 and like? It doesn't make any sense. You're 6'8", 250 pounds. You got to be able to get closer. And I put that on coaching more than LeBron, because LeBron's playing 45 minutes at this point. His legs are tired, so he's probably just looking to get anything up. But you got to get a better shot than that, especially when you have 2 bigs who can rebound like Mozgov and Tristan Thompson to try and put something back in on a short, like on a rebound. So like, they did get the long rebound, and Shumpert did have a second look, but that whole play was a mess by Cleveland, and that's why David Blatt gets the criticism that he rightfully deserves. Like, you can't have that be your last shot, in my opinion.
Obviously, Irving gets hurt in the overtime too. You're right. I was thinking about that. This was when the bananas became a big deal because they would do the halftime speeches, and there was always bananas in the locker room, and the Minions were going on at the time, and that took over the world there for a little bit. I forgot about that stuff.
They're still taking over the world. The movie just came out.
Well, the Warriors end up
Good
winning
old-
105-98. Like I said, they go on. They basically run them out of the gym there in overtime. Cavs have nothing left. The Irving injury obviously takes them to a different level. You see him limping off the court there with 2 minutes, and then it sets up the Warriors for the rest of the series. They end up losing the next two. They come back, obviously, to win the next three. Cavs' depth was the biggest factor at the end of the day. But this game one alone, it was interesting going back and watching it because it was the first of their dynasty, right, in terms of NBA Finals run. So it was interesting kind of seeing the atmosphere there, the nervousness of Curry, the fro little he had there going on, the young Clay, the Bogut factor. What bench player do you think when they come back and do like not Iggy, let's kind of take Iggy out of it a little bit. You could even put Bogut in there. Which bench player do you think gets like the biggest ovation in there? You think it's Azili, Barbosa, Spates, David Lee, Livingston? Do you think who would get? I guess Livingston because he was part of it more, but you think Spates gets the biggest ovation there? James Michael McAdoo, does he get the big ovation? Is there kind of a lovable guy there? I don't know.
I mean, it's got to be Livingston or Spates. I don't think Barbosa. Azili is around too much, so I don't think he would like. We still see him every night on post game or pre-game. Yeah, so I think it'd be Livingston or like Livingston came back. Didn't he come back a couple of months ago, like during the regular season?
I think he still kind of works for the team, doing like
he's doing operations coaching kind of.
Operation post up, operation
pull out his liver. Don't do so I think it would be Spates or Livingston. Probably Livingston more so.
He started. Bogut will get a good one. He's kind of in that. Yeah. David Lee, I would think David gets a decent hand.
David would get a big one. He didn't play a second of this game, but
he did not. But he did a good job on the bench, encouraging.
He was the first All-Star on that team.
Say that again.
He was the first All-Star, the only All-Star on that team. Remember, like going into that season. It was like a big trade.
LeBron averaged.
He might have been an All-Star, but Warriors All-Star.
Yeah, correct. Warriors All-Star.
I was just going to say LeBron averaged 35.8, 13.3, and 8.8 assists in the series. Ridiculous. So that's where he ended up.
Iguodala did a good job.
He did a good job. That
earned him MVP. 33, 13, and 8. You get MVP. Good job, Andre. That's a good gig.
So insane. That's not an MVP. I'm just sorry. And never take it away from him, but like that Steph did not get that MVP.
It was that Iguodala did that, and he played. Iguodala was good offensively. He wasn't like 30 points, but like he made 40% of his threes in the series or something like that. Like Iguodala making 40% of his threes.
But the crime is everyone think Curry played like dog crap. Like he did not play bad at all.
It's because Skip to my Lou was hard on him.
Skip to my Lou.
And game 2 and 3, he did not play very well.
He was not good in games 2 and 3. Game 2 was awful.
I'm not saying he didn't struggle, but I mean, just come on, man. Like
I would have given Curry the MVP.
Average, like
he's definitely the MVP though.
It was like, come on, man. Like to the fact, like I would have given to LeBron. Honestly, he probably would have been my MVP if we're gonna go straight up.
Jerry West.
I mean, if you're gonna have those numbers and then you're gonna give it to the guy that guarded him, that's my only counter to that one. That's a Warriors fan.
He had 4 steals out of those.
His shooting percentage was below 40% to give Andre some credit. Like or right around 40%, very low 40s.
I was going to mention here that in game 2, Curry goes 5. That game also goes to overtime, and it was 95-93. So we're talking Eastern Conference basketball for sure. There, Curry played 42 minutes. He went 5 of 23, 2 of 15 for 3. He had 19 points and 6 turnovers. So, not one of his best games. Clay ended up with 34 points. He did most of the heavy lifting in that game. So that kind of tells you we're there. And then game 3, Curry ends up going 10 for 20 with 27 points. But if game 3 was a weird one because remember he gets like 8 points in the last minute. I don't know if you remember, they lose the game still, but he like gets on this little fire streak to kind of make it somewhat of a close game, and they kind of picks up momentum with it. So like he was awful until the fourth quarter. Let me see. Ends up with he got 17 points in the fourth quarter. So entering the third, he only had 10. What was that? That would have been third. What was that? Do the math here, there, and 10. So he had 10 points entering the fourth quarter, game 3, and then ends up 17. So yeah, I'd say probably Tyler right for that whole game 2, and for 3 quarters basically of game 3. That's as bad as he was not even himself. We kind of did that in the playoffs though. Like as much as I love Curry, early on in that stretch, he had games where he would. In Memphis, he did the same thing for a couple games where when they lost, it was usually because they kind of depended a lot on him. I never felt like they won because of Clay having a big game. More so, they if the Curry was there, like in this one, he ends up with 34 points, and they didn't pull out the W. They still needed Curry a little juice, usually a little from him. And when he was dead, they never could get out big wins. I always felt like. I mean,
they needed Curry. Yeah, if Curry played bad, they weren't going to win. Basically,
that's what it felt like. Game 7 in that NBA Finals too, right? Like 2016, he wasn't good at that one, and they had no chance. That's what I mean. Obviously, he was hurt, but
no, they had a chance.
Well, you know what I mean. Like we could take Kevin Love off the dribble. Yeah, we did.
Iggy didn't dunk that ball.
Dunk the ball, man. So that's kind of a good little look back at it. You guys have those players, like I said, those are kind of some of my notes. You guys have any final thoughts on the game? Any storylines you want to touch on with game 1 there?
Sounds like you became a big LeBron James fan. Going back over this, there, to be honest.
I just wanted to point out some of the games looking at it. With it, or game 1, it was different. The uniforms I hated, by the way, the Cavs.
Oh, the worst uniforms.
Not a fan of them.
Well, the Warriors wore okay ones.
Yeah.
The Warriors. The Warriors, I had no problem with that. So, anyways, that was kind of fun looking back at it. We'll probably do next week. We're going to do actually a baseball with it, but that'll be kind of different. But that was fun looking back at it. I'd like to go back and do maybe an OKC Warriors look back. Well, that'd be fun to do. Maybe for a Clay game 6-1 or something like that for good old times' sakes. We'll have to do that, or game 7 there. Look back. So Warriors Cavs 2015. I don't know. It was a good one there, I think. So, you guys got nothing else on that game? Yeah, go ahead, T.
I just was looking at LeBron's stat. Yeah, he averaged 30, the numbers you already said, but he shot 39.8%. And, if you're going to hold a guy, if he's going to put up 38 points, and he's shooting 39%, that's probably a win for the defense, as far as I'm concerned. So they did do a good job on LeBron. He just took a ton of shots, so he was going to get his points.
And that was the only way the Cavs were going to win too, is him slowing it down and all that stuff.
The mid post and
the ghost of Matthew Dellavedova
was he on that team?
Yeah, remember he was famous in game 2 and 3. He had to go to the hospital. Remember after game.
He almost died guarding Steph Curry.
He almost died guarding Curry. That was the thing.
Man, that guy got paid after that finals. LeBron always helped out his players. Like, you guys are gonna make a lot of money if you play with me. Just
he won't be on my team, but
it will not be on his team. I think he went to the Bucks for $50 million or so, 30. Remember that? I was like, Dellavedova, and then that was the last time we ever heard from him.
Casey, in 2015, that year right there, who led the league in assists?
Who led the league in assists?
Yeah, if you had to guess that year.
Maybe Andre Miller?
A little soon. I'll put it this way. He was on the Warriors last year.
He was on the Warriors last year?
Christopher Paul is the answer there. Yes, he is there.
Chris Christopherson.
He was there. Who had the most points? Who scored the most points per game in 2015? The Warriors. No, not Hardon was the win shares leader though somehow.
For the whole league?
The whole league.
Dribbles.
LeBron?
It was not LeBron. It was in OKC.
Russell.
No. Russell. 28.8. Rebound leader.
Westbrook again. No, just
a lefty.
Rafe LaFrance? No, just
Big Ray. Out of Texas A&M.
DeAndre Jordan.
Big DeAndre. Final one. Rookie of the year. Out of Kansas. got traded.
Oh,
for
Nick
that-
Nick Collison.
got traded for the guy we just talked about the whole time.
Got
Andrew
traded
Wiggins.
for the.
Andrew Wiggins.
Wow. He won Rookie of the Year.
Yep. Rookie of the year at the Cavs. 16.9 points per
Timberwolves.
game. So yeah, those were kind of some of the leaders from that year as well. Kind of in that prime. So yeah, that was fun, guys. Looking back
Who
at
was
that.
MVP of that year?
Curry.
Curry was MVP. Yeah. He was.
Shame on you for
How dare you say that? How dare you not did that? It's funny
Remember
looking back at
Clay's-
some of the NBA guys, like when you go to their NBA reference, some of them just like 95 things on there. You go like Magic Johnson's page or LeBron's page, and it's like, my goodness, they have every award in the book. You can't even get exactly.
I remember Clay having that famous quote after the series, and because there's a lot of slander on Steph and everything, and I believe it was this one, 2015. I could be wrong, but he said, "I'm just glad to be on the greatest team with the greatest player."
The greatest, right?
You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, because LeBron was saying, well, basically he was the greatest player.
That 2-year run was my last thought with the game will be this, guys, is the rivalry. I do think signing Durant did ruin like the actual pure rivalry between the
sure.
three teams, but the Kevin Love thing was a little different for the Cavs because they got him as well. So it's like, well, the Warriors just kind of upped it a little bit by getting KD that next
a little bit.
But I do feel like that 2-year run, like it would have been kind of that third year would have been interesting to see with both teams. The Warriors, yeah, they did seem dead. Maybe after they lose a series like that, but it would have been kind of interesting to see what that next year would have looked like a 1v1 headed into game 3 or into the third year. Obviously, Durant gave the Warriors the atom bomb there a little bit, so I just think that it just would have been interesting to kind of. I do feel like from an NBA pure standpoint, we did miss out on that.
I did not miss out on anything. I enjoyed it immensely, and I'm not taking anything negative from it. It was the greatest 2 years of basketball I've ever seen. There's nothing I lost from it.
See, I disagree. I just like it wasn't enjoyable those finals.
What? It wasn't enjoyable. It wasn't even the most enjoyable basketball I've ever seen.
That was the first time I ever really, really wanted to buy an NBA 2K game. I was like, well, my team's never gonna lose.
But I could. Didn't they go 12?
I get what you're saying. Where the rivalry was no longer a rivalry because the Warriors were so good. But I don't need a rivalry. Just let me watch my team dominate everybody. They were winning games in the third quarter.
Yeah, it was 6. They won 16-1 in the playoffs, right? So something like that. So yeah, it was pretty good, pretty crazy run they were on. I think they won their first 14.
They won their first 15, I believe. I think they were up 3-0 in 2017. Yeah, but maybe, I believe so.
I think LeBron saw the writing on the wall, so to speak. He's like, even as good as I am, I cannot beat this team. These guys are ridiculous.
He's like,
and
then JR started doing mental things. So
smoking joints at halftime. forgot the time and score.
Tyler, you're right. They won game 4. The Cavs won 37-116 to send it back to game 5, and the Warriors pulled it out there in the finals there. So yeah, they could have
gone undefeated. That would have been ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I was gonna have some fun with this because shout out to my guy BSing Sports. So that's our basketball kind of take with it. I wanted to do this real quick, and then we'll get out of here. I thought it'd be fun because he does it on there, and I thought it was a good idea for us, and so to try it since we like doing kind of trivia stuff, kind of with baseball and basketball and all that. So, in case I was gonna get it. Oh, hold on, I messed up real quick, but I'll get it up. It's the immaculate grid thing. Have you guys seen that before?
Yeah, I know what it is. I don't know how. Yeah.
Huh?
What are we doing? Basketball, baseball?
Well, we're doing baseball for sure. We're going baseball with it. So I'm gonna get it up on the screen. We'll go with it. Try here real quick. So I got the first one they have is, can we name an Angels
40+ WAR career?
Well, I don't care about that, but Angels Diamondbacks. Can you think of a player with a low over his head? Oh, 40+. I'm gonna go Fred Lynn for Angels. That'd be my if I was gonna, I'd go Frederick Lynn if I was gonna throw somebody out there for it. If I'm gonna try to get low percentage. Casey, you got somebody that played for the Angels D-backs? You want to try that one?
Like, I almost want to cancel myself when you say that.
All right, Tyler, you got any?
I'm trying to think. I can't think of anybody else. Scott
okay.
Spezia never played for the Diamondbacks.
Scott Spezia.
Troy Gloss ever go to Arizona?
Yeah.
Should we try
Darren
Detroit?
Erstad? No,
Erstad? I don't think he went
Gloss.
there. I'm going to say first base. I'm going to bring a name out here. Let's see if I can get low percentage. Let's go Chone Figgins. He had to play first at some point. No, he did not play Chone Figgins in that play there, so I didn't get that. Diamondbacks. See, we got to know this on the spot. How about Diamondbacks and
Detroit?
in Detroit? Anybody there? You can get Tyler Detroit.
What the hell are the damn Diamondbacks here?
I'm gonna go. I think Luis Gonzalez played for at least both those.
Yeah, he did. That's a good one.
All right, so we'll go Luis. 10%. We got big Luis on there.
First round draft pick for the Diamondbacks. Who's the guy? Appel.
For who?
Appel.
Mark Appel.
Diamondbacks.
That was he was the pick from the Astros though.
Oh, you're right.
Who played first base on the Tigers? That'd be a low. Come on, we could get a first
place on the Tigers.
Miguel Cabrera.
Dimitri Young.
Let's see what Dimitri. Let's see what the percentage on. Let's see what Dimitri if he's on there. Dimitri Young.
He should be on there. And everybody. Let's put Young.
Yes, Will Dimitri. There he is. Oh, nice. 1%, Tyler. Very nice there. Very nice. First round pick. The only one I can think of is Justin Upton from the.
Yeah, he's definitely one.
That's probably the guy that played for the Angels.
Hold on. Who's the guy they traded for? They traded to the. That was never mind. That's an opposite trade. I was gonna say the Shelby Miller trade. They got Shelby Miller. That's not who we're looking.
I would say first round pick too. You could probably have what we could use for Angels D-backs is Justin Upton there.
Oh yeah, that's probably a high number though.
Let's see what he's at. 19%. First round defect. So
now we can't use 40 plus WAR for the Tigers.
There's got to be. Well, Cecil's got to be there. But what's a random guy that would be there?
Cecil seems like a high for. Oh, Juan's probably.
I don't think Juan could get to 40 though on the Tigers.
But you think
too big of a part?
You think Cecil?
They had a light pole in the stadium for God's sake.
No, but I think it's throughout their career they just played for Detroit.
That's true.
Miguel Cabrera for sure, right?
You think Bobby Higginson had him?
No, Bobby Higginson. Get the hell out of it. 40 plus. Normally, like good players have like 6 WAR at the end of the season.
Oh, we got
do Juan Gonzalez.
Bobby Higginson. What was the other? What was the other? Wasn't it Encarnacion?
Edwin? No,
Juan did not make it.
He did not. See, that's how good you have to be. 40 plus WAR.
Remember, that's when the walls were like way back, and then they put them back in.
Yeah, but it's for your career. It's not really for.
How about an Angels?
Dude, Darren Erstad played first base.
Yeah, Erstad. That's got to be a popular one.
No.
Darren Erstad. 5%. That's not too bad with that. All right, I got 3 guesses left. We'll go quick with it. 84. I'm gonna go Fred Litt. I'm just gonna.
All right.
Let's go ahead and get Fred Litt on there. Fred, come on, Fred. Fred, when he comes through for me, I'm there. Tigers, is Cecil on the list or Prince Fielder? Would he make the list? Would Prince make the list at 40? He probably wasn't that good enough to make it.
If Juan Gonzalez is in, I can't imagine.
Miguel's probably.
Whoa, no, Pudge. Do Pudge.
How about Verlander? He probably got to be Pudge. I would say Verlander would be on there too.
Yeah, probably.
Vaughn, I'm gonna say he's not there. Let's see. No, he is 2%. All right, what would be the hardest first round pick? Let's have a first round pick that played for the or first base or the Diamondbacks. There's got to be a first bet, some sort of Adam Pyatt. Was he a first baseman?
First baseman with 40 plus WAR? Is that what we're doing?
What's Adam? No, just a first round pick that played first base. What was the Giants' random first baseman? They were picking first baseman.
Mark Carrion? I don't know if he was a first round pick. JT Snow? Wasn't it a first round pick?
JT was not a first round pick. I know that one. Mark McGuire? You could be Mark.
Who would I just say? Do Andrew Vaughn for the people, the local people.
Let's do that, Andrew. That's a great pick call right there. Tyler. Great call, Andrew Vaughn. 1%. 239. That's our immaculate grid there with it. I thought that's kind of fun though. It's kind of messed around. It's harder than it looks though, huh? So
it is.
I gave up after the first block. I was like,
for me.
All right, TZ. I'm not going to get it up on the screen the whole thing, but I'll just throw it out there. TZ. I also have one for for basketball. Basketball's a little trickier though for me. Like, so if you had 76ers and Bulls, who's somebody that played for the Sixers and Bulls?
Sixers and Bulls.
Yeah.
76ers and Bulls. I'd say like Bill Wennington.
Bill Wennington. Should we see if Bill's on the list? Should we see if Bill made? I don't think Bill made the list there, my friend. Let's see if Bill Wennington.
Come on, Bill.
I don't think Bill played for the Sixers, but we'll give him a chance. He played 14 years. Bill did not. How about we can't get that. How about the Celtics and Bulls? You got one for the Celtics and Bulls? We got there. Joe Johnson?
Robert Parrish.
Going to hold.
All right, is that who you're going with, Big Robert?
Yeah. He's there. I don't know if he's.
Robert is 22%. Yes.
Oh,
There's some like tricky ones there right there. If you want to, it's harder for me because you got to try. You try to think of the low percentage ones, right? Like that.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
It's hard. It's easier to go with like some of the like Washington, and when it's the Wizards, it can also be the Bullets. You know what I mean? So it could be those teams.
Did Wes Unseld play for any of those other three teams?
I was thinking like the Raptors and Celtics. That's a tough one. I can't think right. Like it's a little harder on the than it looks. So
did Isaiah Thomas play for both those teams?
For the Isaiah Thomas, he might have played for the.
I think he went to the Raptors.
He might have played. I think he might have played for the Wizards.
I don't know. He played for the Wizards. He might have. I don't know.
We're talking the Washington.
Not that one.
Isaiah.
No, not that one. Not that Isaiah. Let's see. Yes, David said Tyler can call.
I didn't know he played for the Wizards.
Yeah, Isaiah on the list. Boy. Oh, my.
Gotta think of people who played for a lot of teams.
How about D Brown? Did he ever play for the Raptors? Did we get D Brown?
D Brown.
We got
Brady. No.
Should I try D Brown? Should I see if he played for
Damon Stoudemire? Did he ever go to the Celtics?
I don't think he ever played for the Celtics. That's the problem. I don't think he ever
Sharif played for the. No, that's the Grizzlies, not the Raptors.
The Bulls Hawks one. Did Corver play for the Bulls?
Yeah, Corver. Yeah, that's one.
He played for the Bulls, so we go Corver here. Put a little Kyle in there. Yes, 35. Sixers, Bulls. I feel like there's got to be a better one there, like not an obvious one that we can come up with.
Eric Snow,
probably.
McKee.
What was the guy the Bulls drafted? Curry.
Who? Colby.
The big guy Curry.
Eddie Curry.
Eddie Curry.
Eddie Curry.
I don't think he played for anybody but the Knicks and the Bulls, though.
He probably dwindled his career and maybe ended up one of these teams.
Did how about did Mo Spates play for the Bulls? Mo Buckets. Did Mo Passes play for the Bulls there? Right there. All right, let's see if we get one more here, and then we'll come. We're almost at an hour here, so we'll see if we can get it out of here.
Bulls 76ers. Jimmy Butler.
All right. That's probably an obvious one though for most people.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got to get him on there. What a hairstyle! 45% there, right there. The Bullets one. That one's the Wizards Bullets one. Like the Hawks Wizards ones. I might be here all day staring at you for one right there. That one's the tricky one. Jamal Crawford. Did he play? How about Jordan Crawford? Is that guy?
Marcin Gortat.
Gortat.
He played for the Wizards. I know that.
Oh, you know who? No, maybe. Know who I can got for Hawks though? This one. I got one. This one comes to mind here. Let's see if I can get this as a good one. Kevin Willis. Yeah, 6%.
Oh, you know it's a good one for 76ers Hawks?
What's that?
Rashid. He played one game for the Hawks.
Hawks and who?
Wizards. He was drafted by the Wizards.
The Hawks and who?
The Wizards.
The Hawks and Wizards. He played for the Wizards.
Yeah, I think he was drafted by the Wizards.
You're right. He was. You're right. Or Rasheed Wallace.
This has got to be low percentage.
Well, Rasheed, 8%.
Wow.
A lot of
He
people
only played one game for the Hawks. So
he did. That was a big game. That was a big game for the Hawks.
Did he get a technical?
I think he might have.
All right, we got down to two here: Wizards or Sixers. That one's going to be tough. And you go Raptors. Raptors. I feel like there should be a Raptors Celtics.
Did Elton Brand play for the Wizards?
I don't think he did play for the Wizards. I feel like he did. Bradley Beal, did he play for them? John Wall,
No.
Bertans, whatever his name is.
Bertans.
Did he play for it? Antoine Jameson? He played for it. Larry Hughes, right? Wizards, and he played for the Sixers, right? Or no?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
one.
he
Yep,
did.
yep.
Yeah.
So Larry, come on, Larry.
Larry Cubes.
Larry, let's see, 4%.
Our lowest
We
one.
got another one. Raptors, Sixers, Raptors, Celtics. That's it. I feel like the Raptors, Celtics should be easier. If I was going random, I think I might be wrong, but I would probably go D Brown as my guess, just as one there. If you guys, help me my guess for one there, or Andrew DeClerc. I feel like he might.
Why can I? Oh, did he play for the Raptors?
Andrew DeClerc. I know he played for the
Did Rafe LaFrentz play for the Raptors?
I think Rafe might have played for the Raptors.
We called that one out early. No, just kidding.
Did he play for the Raptors though, Casey?
I have no idea.
I don't know if he did. Abdin Wang ZZ, he played for the Raptors.
Lil Wang?
Little Wang played for him. Should we try D Brown? Is everybody good?
Yeah, I might as well.
Let's try D here. Let's see if I get that one. I'm gonna say probably wrong.
Sounds good.
Let's see if I can get it. 7% D. That's not bad. 234.
I didn't realize D Brown played for.
We couldn't get Raptors. Raptors Sixers was the one that it got us off the hook there. That was the one there. But that was
Leave
fun,
a comment
guys.
if there's any Raptors Sixers you can think of.
I did have one for you, Tyler. I asked Darren this. He did not get it. Who was the first $100 million NBA player in 1996? Contract-wise.
96. Grant Hill? No, too early.
He was a power forward center.
Antonio McDyess?
He was on that grid. His franchise was on that grid.
He was on the Fab Five.
Jawan?
It was Jawan.
I know. I thought it was either
million?
Shaq or Jermaine.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah. And then it took 2 decades to get Mike Conley as the first 150 and then Curry as the first 200 million.
And now they're up to 300.
I know, right?
Tyler, was it Tyler Anderson or something from the Heat? That's always the contract I remember.
Tyler Anderson. The guy from Cal? Who was the guy from Cal that sucked and got a big cut? They played for the Rockets and hit threes against the Warriors.
Kyle Anderson. He was
No, is it Kyle? The white guy? Not Kyle Anderson.
Oh, he was. He was a tall white guy.
The one that
Is that what his
Curry
name is?
torched
I thought
over
Kyle
and
Anderson's on the Warriors now. Or no, that's
No,
Kyle.
what's his name? I thought it was Kyle Anderson, right? I got it wrong.
I don't know. I don't know.
Looks like
Cal.
a Kevin.
Ryan Anderson, I think it is.
Ryan Anderson. Is it?
Hey, game 3, Warriors Pelicans. He was killing us. Leave it. Chuck at halftime. Why did they stop going away from Ryan Anderson? That's what
Rhino.
Right. That was fun, guys. We didn't even get to DeRozan joining the Kings. I guess we'll get to more of that. That was he goes to Sacramento as well. Harrison Barnes, you were talked about a little bit. Now he's off to San Antonio as well. So that's kind of a winner of the week. You guys got any final thoughts on that, T?
I mean, great signing by the Kings. I mean, some people say, their defense gets worked, but they weren't playing any defense anyway. They still have Keegan Murray, and they didn't have to trade him away. So I think adding DeRozan as an extra scorer next to Fox and with DeMontis Sabonis' passing just makes them a tough offensive team to stop. And DeRozan has that clutch game that maybe he'll win the clutch man of the year for the second time the Kings can have that award.
Harrison Barnes always telling DeMar Rosen, still got one of those rings.
Still got one there.
What have you done?
What have you done? I posted a picture of Harrison Barnes dunking over LeBron right before he got on Game 5. So Harrison, that will always live in infamy. Nice job there, and he did play well at the clinching Rockets game there, Game 5 as well in the Western Conference there.
And then he got fired because he couldn't make a mid-range jump shot.
His best series was against the Spurs when he was young.
Spurs, yeah, that was probably his best. That was his best series there. That was when Mark Jackson believed in him more than he should have. That's what we're gonna post up Harrison Barnes at any time, right? I get that.
Do you remember when people were like, Barnes has to be the best player on this team if they want to win a championship? And then Curry just elevated.
Barnes came in as what was he, a top high school prospect? All this. He was like,
It's hella funny looking back at that because the Warriors, oh man, their backcourt was dominant. and then you're like, oh, where'd they go? You're like, Davidson in Washington State. That's like not named colleges. Like, yeah, we won the chip with the guy that wasn't even recruited, and the guy that he
His
went to
dad was
Washington
the first
State.
overall pick.
Yeah, everyone knew them more for their fathers than they did as like them actually.
Pretty
That was
much.
always funny. And then,
Pretty much when we came down to there. So, so good show, guys. I like doing the little baseball trivia
Yeah,
there.
Red's fun.
That was kind of fun. We did the look back there. Next
I'm
week,
terrible.
Next week should be fun. Case we'll get your knowledge up. We're doing the 1994, 30 years ago. Kind of a weird year in terms of baseball, but we're going to do a little look back at the All-Star game. A great All-Star game. Kind of, it's going to be, it's so awesome. The names that are involved in this, in Pittsburgh, it's just really cool to watch all of it. So I look forward to talking all that with you guys and more next week on Fatboy FadeAway Sports episode 183. Tyler McGurk, Casey Breyer. That was fun, gentlemen. Glad we're that was a month. 4 weeks in a row, the three of us doing it again. It was fun there with it. Be sure to also check out Tyler on Sports for Slur. He does little episodes there on Mondays usually.
For Slur.
Sports for Slur.
With a slur.
Whatever.
With a slur.
You got that.
Sports for Slur. Thanks, Dad.
Well, you are for slurs. Are you anti-slur? Is that what you're telling people that?
I'm neither here nor there for slurs. Racial ones I am against.
Sports with a slur. Tyler McGurk doing those shows there. Casey trying to stay cool in an apartment. Those are the goals of it. I got 7th inning stretch there on Thursday, so check out any of that stuff too. We'd appreciate it. Yep. Gentlemen, Fatboy FadeAway Sports in the books. We'll see you guys next Sunday. Peace.
Sports for Slurs.